morning, students. How are you all? I hope all you are fine. Okay, today we see unit 4, hair. So hair is the essential thing for human being, not only human being but all living organism in this world. So in this lesson we will see what is hair, uses of hair and composition of hair, and what is atmosphere and its layer, hair for the survey of plants and animals. So all the topics we see clearly in this lesson. So first we see introduction. So introduction of hair. So hair is the important one. So hair is a mixture of many gases. So hair is very important for living things. So breathing is a part of a process called respiration. So during respiration, a living thing takes in oxygen from the air and gives out the carbon dioxide. So this process gives human beings and plants energy to eat, grow and live life. So air is very necessary for us to live. So we can live without food for some days, so without water for few hours, but cannot survive without air for more than few minutes, right? So air is present everywhere around us. So we can't see air, but we can feel it so many ways. For example, trees rustle, cloths hanging on your clothes lines way, pages of an open book flutters, kites fly in the sky. It is a hair that makes all these movements possible. So hair is present all around us. So we cannot see, touch or taste hair, but we can feel it only. So understood? Hair is everywhere in this world. Next topic, atmosphere. So what is atmosphere? Our earth is surrounded by huge envelope of the air is called atmosphere. So atmosphere extends to more than 800 km above the surface of the earth and is held in place by earth's gravity. As we go higher, the force of gravity decreases, so it is not able to hold large amount of air. So due to earth's gravity, the atmosphere is made of 5 different layers. So first one, troposphere, second one, stratosphere, third one, mesosphere, and fourth one, ionosphere, and fifth one, exosphere. So this is the different layer. We see one by one clearly. So first one, troposphere. So what is troposphere? Troposphere is the layer closest to the earth. It is the layer in which we live. It extends upwards for about 16 km above the surface of the earth. So movement of wind takes place in this layer. It also contains water vapor and also contains 75% of the air. So mostly nitrogen and oxygen in this layer. So next, aircrafts. Aircrafts usually fly above this layer only, so to avoid strong winds and bad weather. So this is troposphere. So next one, stratosphere. The stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere, about 10 to 50 km above the surface of the earth. So it lies above the troposphere. So this layer has the ozone layer in it. So the ozone layer located at the bottom of the stratosphere. So the ozone layer protects all life on earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays on the sun. So the next one, mesosphere. So the mesosphere region of the upper atmosphere between about 50 and 80 km above the surface of the earth. So the mesosphere is the coldest atmospheric layer surrounding the earth. So as you move up into the mesosphere, the air temperature decreases. The temperatures at the top of this layer can drop to minus 90 degrees Celsius. So this is the coldest layer. So next one, ionosphere. So it is the part of the atmosphere that is ionized by solar radiation. It plays an important part in atmospheric electricity and forms the inner edge of the magnetosphere. So ionosphere is the active part of the atmosphere that depends on the sun's energy to grow. So next, the last one, exosphere. So exosphere is the uppermost layer where the atmosphere thins out and the merges with interplanetary space. So these are the layers of atmosphere. So next one, importance of the atmosphere. So what are the importance? So it provides necessary gases for living things. So second point, regulates the heat from sun to just right temperatures for life on earth. So third one, plays an important role in the water cycle. The last one, the ozone layer protects the earth from the sun's harmful UV rays. So these are the importance of the atmosphere. So next, let us learn something new. So a weathercock shows the direction in which the air is moving at a particular place, and also windsock also to find the direction of the wind. So weathercock and windsock to find the direction of the wind. So next, Daniel Rutherford, Scottish chemist, discovered the nitrogen. So he removed oxygen and carbon dioxide. He was sure that the remaining air that he had, so did not have oxygen and carbon dioxide. So he was able to produce gas. So which showed the same property of the air without oxygen and carbon dioxide. Hence this gas was named nitrogen. So it discovered by Daniel Rutherford. So understood all of you? Composition of air. So next topic, composition of air. So we came to know that air was not just one substance. So we will now describe what air is made up of. So this is called composition of air. So 78% of nitrogen. So almost 4/5 of air is nitrogen. So next, second major component of air is oxygen. So 21% of oxygen. So about 1/5 of air is oxygen. So in addition to nitrogen and oxygen gases, air also contains small amount of carbon dioxide. That means 1% of carbon dioxide, water vapor, and some other gases like argon, helium, that etc. So the air may also contain some dust particle also. So these are the major component of air. Okay, this is the composition of air. So next, the composition of air changes slightly from place to place and also from season to season. For example, air over industrial cities usually has a higher amount of carbon dioxide. So coastal areas may have more water vapor. So air also contains more water vapor in rainy season also. So the amount of dust in the air is more in windy places than other areas. So this is all the composition of air. So the next topic, dust particle. Test for the presence of dust particles in air. You might have seen the sunlight entering into a dark room through a narrow slit and making shiny dust particles dancing merrily on the path of sunlight. So actually the air in a room always contains some dust particle. So but they are very small, okay. So directly they are not visible to us. When a beam of sunlight falls on them, the tiny dust particles become visible. Okay, so now we calculate the dust particles in the marked areas. So take a graph sheet. Using a marker pen, draw a 5 x 5 cm square on the graph. Apply a thin film of grease on the graph sheet. So this sheet will serve as dust collectors. So as a dust collector. Now we calculate the dust particles. Mean value equal to total number of dust particles on collector divided by number of squares on collector. Next, the range of the dust can also be calculated. So range equal to maximum value minus minimum value. So this is the way to calculate the dust particles. So I hope all you understood. Remaining topics we will see the next video. Okay.